are once again going to increase our blessings with the presence of His Holiness Swami Chidanand Saraswati. Did I say that right? And Sadhviji, his student as well. Swamiji left his home from the Himalayan jungles and forests at the age of 8 years under the guidance of his spiritual master. Today he is president and spiritual head of Paramath Niketan Ashram, one of the largest spiritual institutions in India. He's the founder and chairman of the India Heritage Research Foundation, and he convenes the Parliament of Religions, is the founder and chairman of Divine Shakti Foundation, and the general secretary of Guru Saganam Confederation of Indigenous Religions of India. His student Sadhviji was raised in a traditional American family and graduated from Stanford University. She was completing her PhD when she decided to live permanently at Paramath Niketan Ashram on the holy banks of the Ganges River. Ever since then, she has dedicated her life to serving the poor and the needy of India. Today, she teaches meditation to seekers who travel to the Himalayas and across the world. Thank you for your presence.
It's a wonderful joy and a wonderful honor and blessing to be here at this summit and to be here in Puja Swamiji's presence talking about from illness to wellness. These days our lives tend to be dictated and defined by illness. If you ask most people how they are, if they're honest, as the Dalai Lama said earlier, you end up getting a list of what's wrong. A litany of aches and pains, fatigue, anything ranging from the smallest reaction to a meal they've eaten to serious illnesses and ailments. And our life seems to have gotten to the point where we have bouts of feeling great in the midst of a general trend of physical, emotional, psychological dis-ease. But that's not our only option. That's not what health is supposed to be about. The word wellness, as I recently learned, is a relatively new word. And yet the word health has been around for as long as they've been keeping track of our English language. But here's what's so interesting, and I brought this up in the salon the other day. The root of the word health at its foundation did not pertain just to the physical fitness of our body and our muscles and our bones, but it actually had 3 components. What we today call health, what we today call wholeness, and what we today call holiness. So you couldn't have one without the other. If you were healthy by that root, you had to also simultaneously be experiencing wholeness and holiness. Now, I just want to quickly divert for a moment and mention that when I say holiness, it didn't mean religiosity. It's not about how much we pray or how much we worship. It's not about a particular religion or a particular image or form of God. It's simply about an experience of life that connects us to the Spirit, that connects us to the sacred, that connects us to grace. And when we say wholeness, well, wholeness of what? Wholeness of the body, wholeness of what we call mind, our thoughts, our emotions, and of the Spirit, however we think of the Spirit or identify the Spirit. That's wholeness. And that's as integral and fundamentally a part of health as the strength of our muscles or our bones or our bloodstream. The problem today has become that we have divorced those. We've removed the sense of wholeness and holiness from health. And so we've started to think that health is just about the physical body. There's a wonderful story, it's sort of a joke that I love to tell, of a man who goes to the doctor, and he says to the doctor, "Doctor, something's very wrong with me. Whatever I touch, it hurts. I touch my head, it hurts. I touch my back, it hurts. I touch my stomach, it hurts." And so the doctor is very surprised, because typically people come with one complaint: a headache, a stomach ache, a backache. But this man, everything he touches, it hurts. So the doctor does every scan and every test. And at the end, he calls the man in and he says, "I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is there's nothing wrong with your back or your stomach or your knee or your head. The bad news is your finger's broken. Because your finger's broken, whatever you touch, it hurts. But it hurts not because the problem is in the head and the stomach and the back and the knee. It's because the finger's broken. And in our lives hurt. But we tend to blame this bed or this chair or that yoga pose or the traffic or that particular meal or this medicine or having to stay up all night or our genetics. Whereas the problem really is that broken connection to the source, to the well of health, of wholeness, of holiness within us. As the Dalai Lama said so beautifully earlier, when the problem is inside, when the problem is generated from the inside, the solution also has to come from the inside. Otherwise, we end up in this situation these days where we're creating more and more pills, more and more treatments for the illnesses, and yet we're getting sicker year by year. Newer and newer illnesses are coming up. I was reading on the airplane on the way here a magazine in which it was describing a brand new vocabulary word. True story, real word, real new disease. I mentioned this the other day as well. A new diagnosable illness called nomophobia. Now, phobia is a serious, diagnosable, treatable fear, debilitating fear. Nomo, the fear of being without a working mobile phone. I kid you not. You actually can now walk into a doctor's office and be diagnosed with nomophobia. The fear that my phone's going to run out of batteries or I can't find it. And so it makes us wonder, where does it end? Like, where's the pill for that? Where are we going? And that's where we end up having to come back to that inner connection. The field of psychoneuroimmunology, which is a union of psychology, neurology, and immunology. The field of psychoneuroimmunology tells us what our spiritual teachers have been telling us for hundreds or thousands of years, which is, as you think, as your mind is, so you become, so your life is. They've done all kinds of amazing studies. I don't have time tonight to go into too many of them, but that show us the incredible power of what we think and the state of our emotions, and the state of what we would call our physical body. They have found recently receptors for what we call our emotional neurotransmitters, that which we secrete when we're depressed or sad or anxious or frustrated or joyful in our brains. They have found receptors for these on the cells of our immune system, on our T cells, on our natural killer cells. making it conclusive that these are communicating. There's not this mind-body divide that we would like to think there is, or that so many people have told us for so long there is. They're communicating. What we're feeling, what we're thinking, is communicating directly with our immune system, with our body. You take something like pain. Why do most of us go and get massages or go to sit in the jacuzzi? Because we're aching somewhere. Something is painful, but pain we associate as a purely physical phenomenon. It must be right here in my pain sensors, right here in the skin, right here in the muscles. But they've found that with amputees, people who have had a limb amputated, about 50% of them continue to feel pain in the limb that's been amputated. So the question becomes, well, where exactly is that pain being felt? The limb has been removed. So what's hurting? They've done studies with teaching people to play the piano, where they've sat down two groups of people in front of a piano, taught them a song, and with one group, they let them spend the next 2 weeks practicing with their fingers on the piano. The other group, they never let their fingers touch the piano. All they're allowed to do is for 2 weeks, close their eyes and imagine themselves playing the piano. And at the end of 2 weeks, what they find is that both groups have mastered the song practically the same. So where exactly are we feeling pain? And what exactly is practicing playing the piano? Where does the body end and the mind begin? The fingers end, the imagination begin. The muscles end, the self begin. So we're now in a situation in the wellness industry, we can say, whether it's physical wellness, emotional wellness, of realizing that it's a package. They're inextricably linked together. And there's no way to treat one without the other. So the question then becomes, well, how do we work with the mind? And there's so many ways. I won't go into them right now. We'll have time later for questions and answers. But in conclusion, for all of those of you here in the spa and wellness industry, I just want to emphasize, when you're treating people, even though they're coming to you presenting their physical bodies, what you need to realize is that health, wellness, is a package deal. And I don't mean a package deal just like a wrap and a manicure and a facial all for the price of one. I mean a package deal that what they're thinking, how they're feeling internally, is a package, how they're breathing, how connected they are, is part of the same package of the muscles and the cells that you're treating. And so if in a variety of different ways you are able to help people, not just relax the muscles in the hands of the treater, but actually reconnect to that source, to the well of health, of wellness within them, then they're actually going to be able to go home and hold on to what you've given them. Not just overnight, not just for the week, but they'll be able to build and build and build and ultimately build a life of health and of wellness. Thank you.
Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. My dear divine souls, my sisters and brothers, dear Sadhviji, I'm so happy to be here today. The theme has been given, illness to wellness. Let me share my experience with you. When I was 8, I was blessed and touched by a divine master, and the spiritual life started. After 1 year of rigorous meditation and disciplines, complete silence, he has taken me to the forest. When I was living in the jungle in that young age, at the age of 9, I saw and witnessed myself. There were many birds and many animals, but no hospitals. No pharmacies, no drugstores, and all were well. Even when they got sick, I noticed sometime what they did. They observed fast, they left their food, and that was their lifestyle. I have never seen that bird is eating the tiger's food and tigers are eating the bird's food. Birds were flying in the air, sleeping on time, taking the food on time, and here, when we see our lifestyles, when the time is to eat, we try and sometime go to sleep. When the time is to sleep, and we go to eat. Time is to wake up, we are just preparing to sleep because whole night we were awake. The lifestyle. They were one with the nature, aligned with the nature. That's why they were always healthy, no sickness. And here is completely opposite. We are forgetting our nature. We are not aligned with the nature. That's why we see the illness. Our style to live, where life is also gone and style is also gone, still we call lifestyle. Second thing, which I noticed there in the jungle, in the forest, one thing was stressed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and everywhere the universities are talking about the meditation centers are talking about the cause of our illness, stress. Again, I noticed there, there was no menu for tomorrow. Where to eat, where to go, no place. Nothing was set. No Chi-Chi, no McDonald's, no restaurant in the jungle. But all those saints living in the jungle have no menus. But always I saw them set, happy. And here in our life, everything is set. Everything is set. But we are always not set, but upset. There, nothing was well, but they were well. Not only well, anybody you ask, how are you? When I was in jungle, all the time, any saint and holy man I met, how are you? Always they say, in Hindi, mast means super. Not only well, but super. What is that? Even after having everything set, we are not super. We are not set. Number one is the style. Number two is the stress. So how they manage that? Everything was so stressful there, if you see. Nothing was around. You can create stress in any minute because of nothing was there. But in spite of all, they were not in stress. They were super. Means what? It means how we live, how we take things in our life. Situations are given to us, but how we respond and react to those situations. Our responses and reactions, those situations, make our life miserable or make our life memorable. It is in our hands. Today we are here, moving from illness to wellness. One more main cause of the stress is I. Thus, when I have a sense of pride and sense of doership, that me, I, then creates the walls, creates the barriers. And when the same I is bent, it means becoming humble. When you bend that I, the same tall I, is vertical I, becomes the wall, becomes the bridge between friends, families, spouses, nations, and everyone. And the same I, which horizontally bends, becomes the bridge. Very easy. If we become humble, we bend ourselves. When we bend ourselves, then I becomes we. Then I don't only think about me, I think about all. Then I becomes we, and immediately when I becomes we, illness becomes wellness. That I should be taken care of, should be checked. Through that connection, when Dr. Mark gave the introduction in his speech, there was one thing, what is wellness? He said, connection to the self. That connection to the self brings wellness. In the jungle, what was that? There was nothing available but that connection to the self. When in that connection there is an imbalance, there is an illness. And when there is a balance in that connection, there is a wellness. So, in our life, number one, we have to change our lifestyles. How we eat, what we wear, what time we sleep. We don't have to go anywhere. Learn from the birds. We don't have to go to the unis for that. Just when we go, that's why these spas and created this beautiful atmosphere, nature. That when we go to nature, we check our nature. Not we only live in the nature. We check our nature and then we change our nature. And that's why we are taken to the nature. Second, when the style is changed, lifestyle is changed, everything changes. And that change is not out there. That change is first here. When we change here, things change everywhere. Today, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, given his tagline, when he was talking about, asked the question about hot spring. He said, yes, I was not in the Tibet in the hot spring, but here, when I was taken, I felt comfortable. It means it's feel good. For the spas has given been the line, it feels good. And in spirituality, let me tell you, it feels good in the spas, but in spirituality, if you maintain this connection to the self, it feels super. It's up to you how you take it. Let us take from spa to spirituality. When I say spirituality, does not mean that you include in your spa and wellness business, build one more temple or one more mosque or the church or the synagogue. It means bring that kind of ingredient which connects to the self when you are in the spa. That connectivity, spa and spirituality, makes you more healthy, gives you more, not only wealth, but wellness. That is the true meaning of wellness, when spa and spirituality bridge themselves together and give the meaning to life. Hey, come on, great, being in spa is super, but there is a more meaning to life. Enjoying life, having more in life, not wrong, but having more is wonderful, but being more, even super. And when I say being more, means we are not me only, we are one. We are connected. We are one family. When we are one family, it is our duty. As His Holiness said, when you are arranging those marriages, take care of those poor or homeless children in the streets. That is our duties. Last. When we are talking about the Creator, don't forget about the creation. Spa especially, and wellness, business, connects to water. Health through water. So we have to take care of not only the Creator in our heart, through our creations, but creation also. It means taking care of the water, taking care of the planet, taking care of the trees, taking care of the mountains, also is our prime duty. And that, when happens, then believe me, you are not thinking about only you, I, but you are thinking about we. Means life becomes expansions. And that expansion is spirituality. Spirituality is not, my dear, just seeing God in that corner. When you see that corner in every corner, that is true spirituality. God bless you. When we do that, believe me, that illness, which is because of my ego, my anger, my grudges, my jealousies, my greed, all those barriers disappear, and only you see peace, peace, nothing but peace. And choice is yours, whether you have a peace or you live in pieces. If you have peace, then you exude peace, you manifest peace, you share peace. If you live in pieces, what you can share? Only pieces. That's why let us choose not the pieces, but peace. Thank you, and thank you.